It's WrestleMania season and the wrestling free agency market is beginning to heat up once again, with many exciting possible debuts and returns on the cards in WWE, AEW, and beyond. Whether it be WWE superstars who have walked away from the company to pursue outside ventures, legends who are edging closer to hanging up their boots looking for one last run, or former champions of Japan seeking to conquer a new land, this list has them all. So with that said, let's take a look at the 10 hottest free agents in wrestling this WrestleMania season. Oh, and subscribe to WrestlePlanet. Mandy Rose recently found herself on the top of the NXT Women's Division for 413 days following her title win in October 2021. The reign would last until December the next year, with her eventually dropping the belt to up-and-comer Roxanne Perez sooner than anyone had anticipated. It turned out that the booking decision was linked to the adult-themed content that she'd been uploading to her FanTime page, which ultimately led to her controversial yet lucrative release from WWE the next day, with the incident raising huge awareness for her side project. Now officially a free agent with her 90-day non-compete clause expiring on March 14th, Mandy is now able to sign for another wrestling organization whenever she pleases. With that said, it's unclear if she intends on returning to the ring, although it may be wise to sign with a company that would allow her FanTime page to continue, something WWE would no doubt call to be closed down were she to head back there. Synonymous with the modern relaunch of the National Wrestling Alliance, Nick Aldis has held the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship twice during the Billy Corgan era, reigns that when combined total a whopping 1,192 days. Despite being the first name that comes to mind when thinking of the modern NWA, Nick would announce that he had requested his release from the company in November 2022, whilst being critical of the direction that they were heading. Whilst the release wasn't granted, he would ultimately be suspended over his statement, with his contract later expiring on January 1st, 2022. Since then, Aldis has worked 4 independent dates whilst holding the Stu Hart Heritage title in Calgary, with him yet to make a move to one of the major companies in the United States. With that said, given his history in Impact Wrestling, where he was once a world champion, his ties to AEW through his involvement with All In, as well as calls from Wade Barrett for WWE to sign him up, Nick likely won't be short of options as the year unfolds. Internet champion Matt Cardona is arguably one of the most innovative wrestlers in recent times, with his 2011 YouTube series The True Long Island Story showing that you can get over with fans without the backing of the WWE system. After many stop-start singles pushes since then, he was released from WWE in April 2020 during the pandemic era, before going on to establish himself as one of the top heels on the independent scene, working as a freelancer for Impact Wrestling, GCW, NWA, and many more, collecting gold in pretty much every promotion that he touched. Matt's wife Chelsea Green would recently make her WWE return following her release in April 2021, with it being rumored that Cardona could be joining her, with there even being internal discussions of a reality show centered around the couple. Whilst the WWE return has yet to come to fruition, Cardona is certainly one to watch when WrestleMania comes and goes, with WrestleVotes recently tipping him for a WWE return in the coming weeks. Our next entry is a 2-for-1 offer as we take a look at Dutch and Vincent, who are best known for their work in Ring of Honor as part of the Righteous faction. The former ROH 6-man tag champions were an active part of the roster until the company went on hiatus after Final Battle in December 2021, this when all contracts were allowed to expire. The duo would make a brief comeback to ROH alongside Righteous teammate Bateman, this time under the ownership of Tony Khan, although they would find themselves on the losing end of the 6-man tag title defense to Dalton Castle and the Boys, not to return since. Having attended a WWE tryout in December 2022, and after being spotted in the crowd at an NXT show that same month, rumors have been rampant that they are set to sign for the company. On top of this, the duo have been rumored to be involved with real-life friend Bray Wyatt's ongoing storyline with Uncle Howdy, potentially as part of a Wyatt 6 stable, rumors that they have fanned the flames of themselves on social media, although we await to see if anything actually materializes. Naomi would start off as one half of Brodus Clay's Funkadactyls, eventually evolving to become one of the most established names in the WWE Women's Division. She would find herself at the top of her respective brand twice over the course of her 10-year run on the main roster, ultimately becoming a 2-time SmackDown Women's Champion, also winning the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal once and the Women's Tag Championships once. Naomi would eventually walk out on WWE after a creative disagreement in May 2022 alongside co-tag champion Sasha Banks, and whilst Banks' status has been known for quite some time now finding herself as the IWGP Women's Champion in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Word on the Naomi front has been somewhat quiet. Well, this was until very recently when she would take to Instagram to reveal that she is no longer with WWE, with another story potentially revealing a future outside of the company. Having recently filed for the trademark of Trinity Star for use in wrestling contests and merchandising, many now await her next move, whether it be to link up with the now Mercedes Moné in New Japan and Stardom, or perhaps even a stint in All Elite Wrestling. And speaking of New Japan Pro Wrestling and Stardom, let's move on to the inaugural IWGP Women's Champion, Kairi. Often tipped as one of the best female wrestlers in the world today, the former NXT Women's Champion would allow her WWE contract to expire in December 2021, which allowed her to return to Stardom before appearing for New Japan, who were co-owned by the same parent company. Despite appearing for both Bushiroad promotions over recent months as their top star, Kairi would recently announce that she is officially a free agent via WrestlingNews.co, seemingly working as a freelancer over in Japan without an exclusive contract. In the very same interview, Kairi would reveal that she wants to work in the United States once again in the near future, listing names from both AEW and WWE as potential opponents, a sign that she could be set to join one of the top two promotions. On top of this, Kairi would note that she has an open invitation from Triple H to rejoin WWE, perhaps making them the favourites to acquire her services. Kota Ibushi is another top New Japan Pro Wrestling name that finds himself on the free agency market, this time due to very different reasons. In recent years, Ibushi would finally reach the top of the NJPW mountain, becoming the first ever IWGP World Heavyweight Champion after unifying the heavyweight and intercontinental belts at the 49th anniversary show in March 2021. He would then drop the belt to Will Ospreay at Sakura Genesis later that year, before going on to make the final of the G1 Climax, where it all started to go downhill. Kota would unfortunately suffer from an arm injury mid-match, which led to a referee stoppage and a win for Kazuchika Okada, with Ibushi not being seen since. During his absence, he would call out New Japan management for trying to rush him back too soon, before making several other allegations against them. Now a free agent with his contract having expired on February 1st, 2023, fans now await his next move, with options being aplenty. Ibushi of course has links with Kenny Omega from their time as the Golden Lovers, which has led people to think that they could reunite in AEW. However, with Omega's own contract expiring later this year, it remains to be seen if Ibushi would commit to AEW long term before Kenny does. WCW legend Goldberg would establish himself as one of the hottest acts of the 90s, with his infamous streak shooting him to the top of the industry during its peak years. After a short stint in WWE following the WCW buyout and a few matches in Japan, Goldberg would disappear from the business for 12 years, returning in 2016 to squash the dominant Brock Lesnar, instantly becoming a top guy once again. With that said, his more recent run has been criticized for multiple reasons, mostly due to his lack of putting younger guys over, although he has lost 4 of his last 5 matches in WWE in recent times. Having not wrestled since the Elimination Chamber in February 2022, where he would fall short in his Universal Championship match against Roman Reigns, it would appear that the new head of creative Triple H has no plans for Goldberg going forward, having let his contract expire at the end of 2022. Having been on the free agents market for several months at this point, no major wrestling companies appear to have made a play for his signature as of yet, with the only known offer coming from an independent company in Israel. If the business was right, to jump to All Elite Wrestling could be possible to boost the profile of one of their upcoming big men as part of a retirement match, with Tony Khan being a known WCW fan, although the signing would certainly split the AEW fan base. Former leader of the Bullet Club, Jay White, has been one of the most talked about free agents in recent months, with his future very much up for debate. The former IWGP World Heavyweight Champion would find himself banished from New Japan Pro Wrestling after losing both the Loser Leaves Japan match against Hikuleo and a Loser Leaves New Japan match against AEW's Eddie Kingston earlier this year, this a way of writing him off television for the foreseeable future. The truth behind the story is that Switchblade's contract was coming to an end on March 1st, 2022, a date that has now now been and gone. This leaves White without a current employer, with him reportedly in the midst of a bidding war from the top promotions in the United States. Jay has been heavily linked to a move to WWE in recent months, tipped as the favourite to secure the signing amongst both journalists and fans, although it should be mentioned that there has been reported interest from both AEW and Impact Wrestling. It feels like we'll soon find out his decision in a matter of weeks, with the 30-year-old no doubt set for a big future, regardless of where he ends up. Mercedes Moné would make her New Japan Pro Wrestling debut this past January at Wrestle Kingdom, this after months of reports that she would be in attendance at the Tokyo Dome show. The debut would take place just days after becoming a free agent, when her WWE contract expired on January 1st, 2023, leaving Sasha Banks behind her. Currently working as a freelancer for Bushiroad, the parent company of New Japan Pro Wrestling and World Wonder Ring Stardom, Moné is the current holder of the IWGP Women's Championship, having dethroned Kairi earlier this year at Battle in the Valley. Much like Kairi, Mercedes has claimed that she is a free agent despite her recent appearances in Japan, a sign that she too is signed to a non-exclusive contract. Rumour has it that Moné has only one, if not very few dates left with Bushiroad, although she has been open about the fact that working in Japan is her dream, a sign that she could be sticking around. With that said, were WWE or AEW to make the right offer, she could be tempted to jump ship, especially if she's allowed to continue to work Stardom and New Japan dates, something AEW would certainly allow via the Forbidden Door. And before you go, make sure you check out the most improved superstar ratings in WWE 2K23.